What if I asked you how many searches are made on Google in a day? What would you guess? 100,000 maybe? 1 million? 10 million? The number is actually much, much higher. 5.6 billion searches are entered into Google daily. That's almost 10 times as many searches as there are people living in North America. For every one of these searches, Google's algorithm decides what websites people see first and even helps people finish their searches using the autocomplete feature. Google's algorithm chooses information for us, information that could shape the way we look at the world. Because the stakes are so high, it's important to look for and be aware of potential biases in the algorithm that Google uses. Google Autocomplete has been around since 2010. However, it wasn't until 2016 that the researchers were able to identify and bring to public attention the racial bias in the algorithm. For example, if you started to type in the phrase "Islamists are," you would get autocompletes that looked like this. Not very nice, right? These autocompletes are extremely offensive because they promote inaccurate and biased stereotypes rather than the truth. In 2016, after the media drew attention to racial bias in autocompletes, Google announced that they were going to work on fixing the algorithm. Now, when you type something like "Islamists are" or "Christians are" into Google, the autocomplete function doesn't return anything. Google landed in hot water again when Huffington Post ran a story about Google Images perpetuating gender stereotypes and race-based discrimination within their search results. For example, if you searched for an image of a CEO, only 11% of the images were of women, while the other 89% of the images showed men. Even though there is a gender gap between men and women in positions of power in the US, at the time, 22% of CEOs in America were women. If you searched for a picture of a doctor, nurse, bartender, or any other gendered occupation, the results were always skewed one way or the other. Imagine if you were a young girl who wanted to be a physicist, or a young boy wanting to be a nurse. Seeing only male physicists or female nurses could make you think that the job isn't for you. Google Images also showed a race-based bias, reported by The Conversation in 2019. They found that if you searched the word "girl," 92% of the images returned represented white girls, with 6% of the images representing Asian girls, and only one picture of a black girl. There's already a lack of representation in media for people, especially women, of color. Seeing that reflected in Google image results can be harmful. Researchers and the media have played an important role in revealing the discrimination in Google's algorithms, like the racial bias in the autocomplete feature or the gender discrimination in Google image results. Sometimes, though, it's harder to see when the algorithms are biased because no one, not even the people who made the algorithm, knows for sure how the algorithm produces its output. That's why it's so important to spread awareness of these potential biases. Once you're aware of them, you can think critically about how they've influenced the information you're receiving. The next time you search for something on Google, pay close attention to the kinds of results that come up. This is Algorithms and Society.